Without taking more time, I officially welcome you all as the director of the program and welcome new students, and I'm really excited to listen to you all. Thank you. And I want to say a very special thank you to Jamie. Every year, Jamie organizes multiple weddings. Each of these are like a wedding. And this is just one of the things that she's going to do. She does a whole lot of things. Jamie is, in India we say, he's my right hand. Jamie is my left hand, right hand, head, everything. It's like she is my brain as well. So I don't know what I would do without you, what you would do without you, Jamie. Thank you so much for choosing UGA Creative Writing Program as your home. Thank you very much. And thank you for all the amazing work you do.
Hello. These slides were not here last year, so.
Wow, good memory.
Thank you for choosing to be here at this time, and thanks for feeding us. Thanks to Jamie once again. We can never thank you enough, and thanks to the faculty in the creative writing program, and thanks for everybody who decided to be here, and the readers today. Thanks for choosing UGA. I have the pleasure of introducing my almost roommate before he decided to go to the other side of Athens for very understandable reasons. I'm forgiving you. So today I'm introducing Anindit Dutta, who is a fiction writer from Assam, who is working on a book-length project about the consequences of climate change in rural river islands in Assam. He graduated from the New Writers Project at UT Austin and is excited to be around tall, big trees in Athens, which is actually true because his first post on Instagram was the trees. So we have something of interest together. So consult me for more advice on trees, especially if you're allergic. So he just cannot wait for it to be fall because the humidity makes him feel he's living inside somebody's mouth. Everybody, please jam your hands for Anindit.
Whose phone is this?
It is the recorder.
Oh, okay, sorry.
You've ruined everything.
Sorry, yeah.
Now we don't have recording.
Well, I'll be reading from, I'm Anindit, hi. Hi. I should have taken a beta blocker, but it's fine. I'm reading from my book-length project that I'm working on, and just like three things, like three words, which are in Assamese. I just want to translate it beforehand. They're kinship terms, and one is kokai, that means older brother. One is appa, who is an aunt, and one is buri, which is an old lady. And yeah, so that's mostly it. Are you all ready? Decades ago, Robi Kokai started as a door swinger for the government offices in the city. He caught the ferry from the island and then a string of tuk-tuks that helped him scurry through the different government offices with a sling bag filled with sheets of papers. From driving license to mortgage forms, some of which needed signatures on as many as 15 pages. From the district transport office to the small finance firms that took years to settle the seized accounts and release their funds. He knew all the clerks, all the side doors that led to the people in charge, what documents could be considered misplaced for a liquor shop license. And over the many years, he understood what anyone from a clerk to an officer might consider enough to buy a cup of tea. He always carried an old counterfeit American Eagle fanny pouch, spelled American Beagle, with neatly arranged rows of 20s and 100s, and a joke ready at the bottom of his tongue to bribe slow clerks into retrieving something from the deep dusty bottoms of forgotten stacks. Robi Kokai handled business for everyone, from earnest lawyers to proprietors of small businesses, from spiteful neighbors to weeping daughters waiting to file a next of kin claim. He was what the locals called a dalal, and if the price was right, Robi Kokai could get anyone's property claims passed in a week, which would otherwise take several months, or sometimes several years. Robi Kokai considered his business a craft by which he built a house, bought about 30,000 square feet of paddy fields, and what remained of it went to his wife, Makonapa, as spending money, which, much to his chagrin, she spent on her sister, and that made him painfully jealous. When Makonapa visited the island for the first time in dancing troupe from the big land many years ago, it was agreed by onlookers that she was the most beautiful, homely girl anyone had laid eyes on. Now she came and went as she pleased. When she wasn't home, she spent her long days with her sister, who was known to the entire island as Kolongburi, meaning the hag of misfortune, a name Robi Kokai proudly claimed was his own invention. She was Makonapa's only living family, a stern, spiritless spinster who deserved little of the pity that Robi Kokai sometimes, albeit rarely, felt for her. Even though happiness was robbed away from her when her husband succumbed to malaria 2 weeks after their marriage, even though it had been whispered by her late husband's family that only the bad luck she had brought into his life could account for his death at the juvenile age of 42. Even though that accountability, or rather the lack of it, clung to her like a sickening perfume she could never quite rinse off. Stripped of the social class that the husband would have given her, when Kolongburi first came to the island with her newly married sister, she set up her cot in the far end of the veranda and spent her days in the fringes of the house to prevent her widow's shadow befall over Makonapa's conjugal life. In the roadside bar, the old cronies kept a day aside every year to sit down and speculate the reason behind Kolongburi accompanying Makonapa to her husband's house. A certain someone would bring up that Kolongburi was known to have dreams that she believed were omens. A long time ago, the versions vary. She dreamt of her sister being forced into a large black box manned by pale blue-eyed gods in army fatigues. A box that seemed to wheel past the fields at an enormous speed. And that is exactly how it all boiled down to her only condition in marrying off her beautiful sister. Wherever she went, Kolongburi was to follow. So when Robi Kokai asked for Makonapa's hand, Kolongburi told him that while her sister could tend to the duties inside the house, she herself could tend to the duties outside. Like what? Robi Kokai asked. Like anything, Kolongburi replied. And even though Robi Kokai was no fool into believing that, he agreed to build a small hut near the paddies and convinced Kolongburi to look after his fields. It was a duty outside the house, he thought. He hadn't had time to think about the difficulties that agreement would later bring, which now seemed unending. Little did he know that the sisters were joined at the hip by this powerful invisible string that deeply frustrated him. He thought that having a wife would be like having a ready ladle of food to be had, and yet Makonapa rarely singled him out for wifely attention. She did not offer the little services he expected from her, the cursory queries, the performative care, the shy glance, the formal concern. When he turned away even for a moment, she seemed to disappear, and when he tried to find her again, he could only see the frazzled edges of her silhouette making its way out of the door. When Robi Kokai, an avid fan of the 2002 World Cup winning Brazilian football team, installed a dish antenna to watch the Football World Cup, he came back in the evening wearing a Brazilian football jersey and a case of chilled beer clinking in his sling bag, only to find Makonapa and Kolongburi presiding over the dining table and watching a Hindi soap opera. As the days went on, this became somewhat of a thing, and Kolongburi walked 2 kilometers every afternoon to join Makonapa and summon the rich and wealthy by a flick of the television remote, and take stock of their lavish homes, their bright red sports cars, dreaming about life on a similar balance while chopping bitter melons at the dining table. The sisters took immense joy when the matriarchs with the bitchy banter tortured their daughters-in-laws, and in glittery saris spoke with pubescent voices, and went to bed with makeup on. The sisters spat in unison when the meek wives observed Mondays without any food for the well-being of their good-for-nothing husbands. All the day they sat there judging, one head topped with wispy white hair and the other keshkala dyed, cocooned in the noisy silence of scandalous affairs and dramatic rebirths. But Makonapa's latest venture was into telemarketing shows late at night. She watched these secretly while Robbie Kokai snored in the bedroom. 360-degree ab burner, designed to help one grow six-pack abs in 6 weeks. Sauna belt, also designed to help one grow six-pack abs in 6 weeks. Vegetable mandolins that came in with as many as 22 accessories and could chop onions in 22 different ways. Even Columburi wasn't aware of how, in the flickering television light at midnight, Makonapa imagined herself slicing bitter melons on a vegetable mandolin with terrifying precision. Sporting thick slabs of abdominal muscles under her blouse as she meticulously noted down phone numbers and the years of newspapers, and walked to the public call office in the main street every Saturday to enter all the contests. She didn't win anything, of course, except on one occasion when she won a smartphone with a free 1-year subscription to 3G internet, little knowing how it would change the fate of their lives forever.
Right, I'm very excited to introduce Hunter Gray. Hunter Gray is a Tennessee-born poet. He holds an MFA from the University of North Carolina, Wilmington, and an MTS from Boston University. He's currently pursuing a PhD at UGA, and his first chapbook is forthcoming in 2025 with Finishing Line Press. Please give a big round of applause for Hunter Gray.
Thank you. My leg just fell asleep, so give me a second. Thank you very much. I can't believe I'm here. This is really amazing. I got to come down last year, sort of impromptu, and meet some people, and I thought it would be so awesome to come here and get to hang out with all these cool people. And here I am. It's been an amazing few weeks. Everybody I've met has been super nice. I'm sure there's some meanies out there, just statistically speaking, but I haven't met them yet, so we'll see. So I'm reading some poems from this chapbook that's coming out called Onomatopoeia, which is why I'm currently sporting a bracelet that my wife made that has an onomatopoeia on it. If you want one, you can ask her. She has a lot. They're very cool. So this first one's called Pelvis. Listen, I Atari'd mine and you Atari'd yours. It was post-war time and things were different. Canaries built up incredible tolerances to all sorts of otherwise lethal junk. Dale Earnhardt had long hair. And I'm not here to tell you who you should or shouldn't let into your heart. That stuff never got me right anyway. Left me stiff as a board on the day after Christmas, lacking all juice, impertinent for chickadees. What was that one song that everybody loved? I loved it too. I called it mine, and so it was. I called it ours, and so we were, in July, where the fence goes rotten with honeysuckle, and the field purples in the evening summer. The good news is that there are no secrets anymore. The rituals worked, as rituals. Even when the incense was gone, and all we had left to burn were woven strands of our own hair, in the end it reeked even more like angels, so silly we couldn't see it coming. Okay. This next one is titled Untitled. Solitary cover. Nobody's ever done that before. Out in the empty field, some wild strawberries aren't even strawberries. I wasn't there when they called my ticket at the raffle, had to scrape by on the wanton heads of strawberries. During the Strawberry Parade, every street is renamed Strawberry. The Strawberry Queen will be crowned today at 3 p.m. on the steps at the corner of Strawberry and Strawberry. On Jupiter, the air is so dense that when it rains 24-karat encyclopedias. There are no strawberries on Jupiter. Nobody has ever heard of a strawberry on Jupiter. They call them encyclopedias. Their teeth are made of glass and they go to church on Tuesdays. They have no way of knowing how backward they really are. This one is called monofilament. Somebody put something archaic in my denominator, winsome as a winsome drapery, busted as a leather shoe dipped in bronze. Turns out funny in the end that all Booth really wanted to do was to make a birdhouse out of old Abe's transatlantic prow, having, as he had then, more birds than boxes to put them in. Nobody buries their secret treasures in their own backyard. That was the easy part, inevitably so. That was the part covered in deadly ribbons and bows. This next one, thank you very much. This next one, I'm only reading to embarrass my wife. It's right there at the end of that table. Because it's about our honeymoon. And it's called Honeymoon. Foxes go out with frost tipping their boots, to ransack sleeping dens and leave their tracks not hither nor yon on slopes of the blue hill. Fieldstones wait out in the empty field to be harvested, and the hearts of the dead are turning ripe again, shouldering up dirt in the bed as tuber and radish. A spade weathers the night standing on its head, all moony by the shed. Inside the wine pulls no tricks, and it's our bones that take turns at fouling up Jacob's ladder. We make faces at the dark, we screw our brains out, and then lie there and listen. Wind chimes, sealing the night back together like lead veins in a stained glass window. Thank you. And this is the last one that I will read. It's called Basin. I ate of Elvis and drank of Elvis and became erudite and calmed. It was a golden opportunity, a tender loin. When the wind came down out of upland countries, it was to tell us all about the new and interesting ways we could wear our socks, and there were thousands. Glacial herds only then were learning how to walk as down in the valley's curtain I sat beside a heap of bricks the sun was teething on. Handfuls of snakes kept themselves pretty busy that day, decking the bushes with strings of thorn and warming their bellies by death ray as if by fire. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Hunter. Hi, I'm here to introduce our next reader, Matthew Moore. He's the author of a poetry collection, The Reckoning of Jean Dan Tatum. I'm sorry if I'm ruining this, which was published by the University of Nevada Press. He's the translator of Opera Buffa by Tomasz Shalamun, Black Ocean, and Padova by Iko Gruden at Junk Press. Welcome, Matthew.
Thanks, everyone. Can everybody hear me okay? Okay. I'll just, if you could hold your applause till the end, I get distracted. Thank you. The moral wound rose and stoked the embers, and rose and stood the piss. Tried not to think of your face, that blue-white apparition out of the blue-black dawn. Had I dreamt of you last night, that sweetness with which cruelty verged on, it came. The urine foamed and slurried. I heard Lord Godbird hammering his home in the yellow poplars. Carolina parrots flew in a green gold cloud above me. Why far from you does your body ride me? the abrupt, perpetual damage, a kind of loveless ardor. It dripped upon a gall of the earth's pink ministrations. I killed my nostos in your bed. Nostalgia is the ambition to return to the scene of love. Audubon grew his ambition on the port of the Ohio, traded in Louisville goods and slaves, drew birds, burned his early works, and gradually dreamed about painting more and more. Peeled the bark at the oak's base to line the tanning pit, the milk of its stripped pillar. Since we are estranged, to whom do we ask forgive us? Sometimes I expect to see you upstream. Sometimes I expect us to end ourselves. Ill with a racking of the brains and irresistible behavior to act and not act, persuasion is spiritual. It's romantic to take the fine-tooth comb to each inch of your locks, even the pubic region, to pick out the lice of consummation. I see our blood mixing in one. Those times you writhed in my mouth, wet to the tress, that wriggling wafer, and in its mouth our livid flesh. These poems are from a manuscript that started out as an address to the poet Gustav Sobin, but they quickly became love poems. The 15th letter to the gold beater. You shield me from consuming you and your dance, you and your hair of veils, as you play it drawn across your steel bow, to call the poem work, shrift and the movement of time, music without duration. Under the lip of the monument must plead its case of love, court its pleasing love. I am weak with a refrain of perfume I bought for your skin. Will it still bedevil me? Room key in the hand. Music you score my seeing with, it bleeds like a bed of air. Leviathan, you thought, well that is also bad, so shed your skin on the keys and strings, play yourself out. I kidnapped the moon for you, it's in room 104 at the Purple Inn, so get thee before me. I stand on your head, and the awful sounds roll off your tongue, serpentine unlike. I've never read these poems to an audience before, so I'm a little nervous. The 23rd letter to the gold beater. Music is a sweetness as apocalypsis. Love is a corruption of the good life. End of the world stuff, I thought. It's an apology for fucking, a defense and an expression of grief, a brought low in high places feeling. Have you seen where the heart dares, paradise grows, ruined by its variations of corruption? Are you pleased, are you, to see me fall on your name's sword? Do I still open myself on your sublime wound? Still I dream in a language of your exacting gestures, irreparable joy, the bed that falls, the lives of my loves. This letter is an apology for sentiment. Words are the 26th letter to the gold beater. Words are spry, a new river's immortal bend, spring limbs. You have to embody it, your art. Friend, you are my best witness. If nothing else, and none will do. In your past it sat as like the killer of time, from which every love is made. None united by longing can dare to admit it. I am building an ethic for you that will have you calling mine yours. The joy of desire surpassing arrangements. The grief of love surpassing arrangements. Roses of ox blood. Such friendship carves of the living bread, except you thought it once. A laugh in bed. And this next poem is for my friend who's going through a hard time. God. People move the desert war contains. Its jagged export has neither reset nor sanctuary plug-in. And the ideation a history can be to live time as unbelief strikes a chord. A having fewer feelings than needed, eating at me. It's served love's attrition with time, best when I was alone. Sober vision of a corpse riding me, pressed against her sex. Christ is a call to the action of love. The damage forgiveness does closes in on the vein. I would do anything for you, friend. The proof that nothing changes me will change me. I'll read one last one. CERN, this is about the Large Hadron Collider, except it's not. CERN, then the archangel spoke, the tree of mercy that exudes a strenuous air, that bears an ochre stain beneath flanks of white leaves, whose blossoms brush the fruits animals may eat. When the flank of white leaves stirs, it blushes, what the season of offering does to its scapegoat victims. After the forces of the design scorched its cast iron sea, and despite what remains, the rotten air burns out a shell. And despite what remains, some try to rebury the dead. And the archangel spoke, the tree of mercy that impels a prayer to God, it gives woe cause to worsen, the task to ask forgiveness for asking for a greater greatness than is become, hoarse with asking, raw with questioning it, amazing seraphim, why holy, 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 and never faith and praise, not simple ceremony, as kinship, the pastoral in its element, taught not tools, just blame, a killing blow, in praise treachery that my mind knows not its wrongs. And the archangel spoke, the tree of life that secretes a pitch of blood, chipping the spirit, iconographies of an age, things bearing their names written on signs upon them, the white leaves blush gold in a light, one that remains ahead of its own light, a train defaced of its beacon speed, against spears in the rain grown a long time here, the rain and the snow, icons of an age, a much defaced tree, older than the tree of life, in its age that henceforth no tools can deliver a killing blow. And the archangel spoke, the tree of knowledge, its brute edifice, gave nothing the angels could not explain in brief speeches enlisting what a cant of mind cannot put into language, and thus, out of mind, were anybody to have something to eat beyond the evacuation point, the white leaves tittered to each other, witnessing glory, and the train hit the brakes to avoid the collision. That is, if it did not happen, why does death keep being put out? Thanks.
Hi everyone. Sorry, I didn't realize these slides were going to be this sharp. Thank you so much, Anindit, Hunter, and Matthew for those really beautiful readings. Those poems and stories have made my evening. It is now my honor to introduce Javier Sandoval. Javier Sandoval grew up in the Chihuahuan desert of Mexico and now teaches at the University of Georgia. His work appears in Best American Poetry, Narrative, Swamp Pink, Massachusetts Review, and Gulf Coast, among others. And his chapbook, Blue Moon Looming, Cut Bank, was named a top 10 debut by Latino Stories and praised by Jose Olivares as, and I quote, poetry for the unruly and yes, the brilliant among us. But mostly he loves to smoke on the stoop with his lady. Thank you so much, and let's join our hands together for Javier.
Thank you. What a beautiful introduction. Thank you. Thanks for everybody for hosting us, the new cohort. Y'all have been so welcoming and lovely and tender. It's been really nice. I've been encouraged to do the weird stuff, that you guys like the weird stuff. And seeing as we're in a bar and people are drinking, I'll do a poem that I can't do around my mom. Is anybody else really close to the mom? Does anybody else has single mothers, raised by a single mother, a couple? All right, so the rest of y'all had like great Father's Days?
No, but they were there.
Yeah. My mom was always fair. She said like, your dad's not bad. He's actually like Jesus, like promised to come back. Okay, here's the first one. I'm only doing 2 poems. This one's called Open Mic Night at Home Depot. AA's great. Everyone helps each other out. Rides, jobs, free coffee. But what we really need are more licensed handymen in recovery. Otherwise, I gotta hire sober contractors, and they cost even more than DUI lawyers. So if you drink and fix water heaters, please relapse near me. I'll leave a 6-pack beside my busted sink. Or call my hotline, 1-800-FIX-THIS-SHIT. Meetings every Tuesday, bring your wrench and your traumas. 23andMe says I'm 60% Spanish, 40% indigenous, and 100% still gonna call my cousins like, told y'all I was the real one. Once I texted my mom, what time was I born? And she shot back really quick, run from those white women, mijo. And I should have listened, because liberal ladies claim they don't stereotype. But the second they hear I'm a tourist, suddenly I'm lazy, stubborn, and eat too much. Like, damn, Willow, you ignored my rap sheet, but draw the line on my birth chart. People heal their inner child with ice cream and cartoons. But what if mine just wants to set fires? You ever seen a grown man light a match and whisper, he's back? Okay, so in jail, I had to make a choice. Join the white gang or the Mexicans. A whimsy, really. Because the Nazis would never take me, and it would be a hell of a sin against my mother. She didn't even like me kissing white girls. But when I saw a homie run a blade down his face mid-prayer, I thought, maybe I ain't that Mexican. Nazis act like being white's a personality trait. Mexicans act like being brown's a job. And it seemed like Nazis at least celebrated their members, fun rallies, achievement badges, big bonfires where everyone's dressed up. Basically the Boy Scouts, but with even shorter shorts and way more enthusiasm for being shirtless. Meanwhile, joining the homies felt like Aztec warrior training without the glory. No golden shield, just a whole lot of unpaid labor, and getting your ass beat if you were late to burpees. But right as I'm contemplating my first prison tattoo, the charges get dropped and I walk out, having only joined the jail book club. Look at me now. So now, when I do see other kumbaya Latinx liberals like me talk about unity and decolonization, I gotta wonder how many are just one wrongful arrest away from a Mi Familia tattoo and a secret second family in Michoacan. And when I see some white lady on the news ranting, deport all the immigrants, except my housekeeper, I totally feel for her. She too must have been unfairly arrested and forced to gangbang. She too must have gotten sat down in a cold metal chair and forced to make the decision. Does she join her people? Or does she get shanked by the Homeowners Association? What I'm just trying to say is rednecks and Mexicans really should just be better friends. We both love family, God, reliable propane. Not to mention mullets, the WWE, and yards adored with vintage Fords. Some on blocks, some just park creatively. For us, being rich means our sons get ATVs and our daughters, well, they get married off. Hopefully to other guys with ATVs. My poetry mentor's actual real name is Sonnet. So yeah, she had no choice but to be a poet. That's why I'm naming my firstborn billionaire. Or at least middle class. My mother throughout my childhood, if you get tattooed, no woman will ever love you. My lady now, flipping me flapjacks. Oh, so you're listening to your mother now. A ring is nice, but my name on your neck, that says this man is taken.
That's right.
Thank you. Yes, I'll just do one more.
Yes, please.
Yes. So this one's called Requiem for the Ungoverned. I'm from Chihuahua, Mexico. It's a state underneath Texas. And just because it's caught in between a bunch of stuff right now, it's kind of a wild place. So this is about that. Beneath the night birds, Pops, straw-brimmed, comes trudging out of midnight's thorn shrubbery, strumming Caminos de Michoacan on his black guitar. We sons are outside, lounging fireside by the rabbits and heifers, smoking and hollering, singing. We whack and hug each other, close our eyes to the night croon voices. Then Joaquin and I chuckle stumble to our saddlebags on the gate, bringing back sun-dried godflower to smoke. Swirled about us, dust wind, thorn bushes thistle, and under this blue moon, Pops looks and sounds glittering. We're token serious now, as various versions of ourselves, and Rafa's feeling like we ought to hunt the night valley for a lonesome carriage, and pistol rob us some new dresses for our ladies. But none of us let him, and Pops shakes his head at him from within the fire's orange realm. We laugh, dance in our boots across the ocean blue dirt. The rabbits sleep in their hutch, but the night birds swoop low, pestering the heifers. That shrunken man, Pops, face red-clawed by desert branches, grumbles under his straw brim, shakes his head, and tunes a G-chord, shadows flickering across his hollowed face. Quiet ember glow, blue-boned earth, frosted hollowed moon. We sons swing up horseback, saddleless, gripping thick neck, mane, and Rafa hisses back at Pops under his breath before we buck off, singing. We ride through the night's bruised, brizzled garden, rusted horseshoes clumping, dark hoofs of brother men and equine. The colt swift backs slick from our thighs and heel kicks. Joaquin points up, says a comet's coming, gonna ripple the sparkle black above like a red lash. We burst apart, whooping and galloping, each striving to find the comet. Joaquin spurs horse and climbs the crest. Rafa mooshes deep into the eclipse valley, and I rush west toward the ungoverned territory. The fake sunset glow of its horizon, the torchlights of its silver mining town. I yearn through the black silk night's giant stones, its fireflies for the comet. Keep looking up for it as I careen into brothels, cheek smooching those who find my odor inviting, my hungry ways becoming. I look for the comet in the mirrored ceiling, the sky blue garter on her thigh, the buttercup she keeps by the wash bucket. I look for it in the saloon while toasting mezcal to our fallen riders, counting high cards in the casino. I slap a bottom dealer, his brother stand from the bar and baptize me in the horse trough out front, shoving my head in beside the gallows man's drinking man. Wet and reborn, I yeehaw through black prairie grass till I come across a trio of albino desert dogs. Luminous white shocks of fur, red-eyed jester smirks as they steal charred femurs from an elder's dug-up grave. I come across a kneeling, bleeding calf, lost from its mother, its snout swollen from a star sand moccasin. The land's undertakers flap and swirl above till they land hunched in their feathered cloaks and wait, heads bowed, wings held back, as I unholster, kiss the calf's head, and press against it eternal rest. The vultures huddle me out, begin their dismembering. What will eat me? What beginning shall I lengthen with my end? Horse and I heave past boulders, warped cacti, guano stacks at the mouth of caves, and up the obsidian to Joaquin praying atop the crest, among flames of yucca and jewels of crushed geodes, the bowed trumpets of shadowed azuria, and the choir of nightbirds perched along the crags. Today, together, we await the whip of the red comet, but hear only distance, pops dim strumming, and some shots popping from the eclipsed valley. We buckslide down the crest to search for Rafa, soon riding past the fleeing horse team cut loose from its weight. We spot his colt without him, nibbling moon grass near a parked stagecoach, his driver up top sloped over the side, its torchlights fallen by the wheels and its doors flapped open, and Rafa's darkest figure emerging and sighing, "We'll have to burn this all, I've ruined all their dresses." Hurdling our horses back toward the ranch, spurring with boot heels over thumping hooves, Joaquin curses Rafa, reminding him, "We were supposed to look for the comet." Rafa mutters through his mud-green teeth, "I was." Back at the bonfire, Pops plays Paloma Negra and won't look up from his strings at Rafa. Sick of Pop's loaded singing, Rafa shoots a star through the center of his black guitar, judging me when you were the worst of us all. Joaquin and I listen, stunned, to Pop's final song, of snap G and D strings, of grunts and gulps slouching back toward earth, of his straw brim hiding any last expressions. As our morning dawns, we clean his bones. We plate his meat out for those white dogs, and we stake him up, our dark figure under his straw brim, to scare the night birds from the heifers. But every bonfire night, when Rafa snarl prowls off, when I howl cry this song, and when Joaquin holy harps that black guitar, the night birds return. They all return. Thank you.
Please head now to the counter and grab one of each of these documents, this one discard and the bookmark, and then you buy drinks and tip the waiters generously. Thank you all for coming. Enjoy. We have this space till 8 o'clock. Please hang out, chat, and the program is over. Thank you all.